So I just watched Death Note and...
I would never dream about living in a world without light.
Yes, that would be dark.
Yeah, I've heard enough. This is the greatest show I've ever watched. Somebody give that man an Oscar. Death Note is an anime based on a Japanese manga of the same name created back in 2003. After the manga ended in May of 2006, yep, I'll be right by your side, till 2006. After the manga ended in May of 2006, the anime would air a few months later in October. There's a myriad of adaptations, including several live-action films spanning from 2006 to 2017, a live-action TV drama exclusively dropped in Japan. There's even a musical? How you can make a musical on such a dark concept, I'll never know. Low-key makes me want to check it out. We follow Light Yagami, a well-off high school student with the grades and studying habits to get into whatever the equivalent of Japanese Yale is. One day, while in class, he witnesses a strange black notebook falling from the sky. Upon further inspection, he finds out that the notebook has some strange and mortifying rules attached with it, the most prominent one being that any name written inside the notebook will cause them to die. Skeptical, Light keeps the book to ensure that no one else can use it, and ends up using it for himself to test it out. What follows is quite possibly one of the most prolific serial killer stories in all of animation. The police force, the head of which being Light's own father, scatter to find a solution that will end the mysterious killings for good. Now cue the millionth time that I've expressed what little fascination or experience I've had with anime up to this point. I've beat it into the ground. There's so many anime with so many different concepts. Will I ever find one that keeps me engaged as an amateur viewer? Yes, Death Note is that. Death Note is all of that. I think I finally got the hype. Now, a murder mystery is already an underrated genre that I love, so the intrigue and complexity of the Death Note and its rules were a draw for me in episode 1. But the writing in Death Note is some of the best I've seen in a long time. Like, there were so many moments where my mouth was agape like I was opening up a Pokemon card pack. It was so gratifying to realize something before the scene played out in the show, and even then I'd still be screaming at my screen in disbelief. Light is a wonderful protagonist, I guess you can call him that, to follow. His intelligence seems so unmatched on first watch, but as you go back and rewatch, you start to realize how his arrogance and obsession with power conflicts with his perceived mastermind planning skills. One of my favorite episodes was Overcast, where it feels like Light's already cornered himself with his lackadaisical murder streak, and we the audience really get to feel the tense nature and constant state of dread the show brings. Light's usual plan is to kill first, ask questions later, but from that moment on, the show tosses you into his meticulous and dubious mindset. The suspense that Death Note brings is next level. When I heard that Death Note would be a good entry-level anime for beginners, I always interpreted that as, oh, it's gonna be basic or not as good as the usual standard for anime, but I was massively proven wrong, thankfully. I think that label's mainly given because the show is a very digestible 37 episodes. It made binging the show even more fun because the end is pretty much right around the corner from day one. You'll be stuck thinking, okay, Light seems pretty cooked here, but there's still a good 15 episodes to go. How could the plot get any more off the walls than it already is? And somehow, every time they manage to find a way. Light goes from just trying to keep the Death Note hidden in his room to having it pass a dozen hands only to fall right back into his grasp. From simply testing the Death Note by stopping criminals to killing any and everyone who come too close to his work as a god. His complex is immeasurable, but God is entertaining. There's so many layers to Death Note that I couldn't possibly explain in a single first thoughts video, so I'll wrap it all up with one beautiful bow of a sentence. Death Note is an anime worth watching. Believe that. Let me know what you guys think of Death Note if you watched it. If I see any negative comments about it, they're getting deleted, just so you know. I'm glazing the show for a good little bit. I had a really good time. Like, I wish I could have live streamed it. That probably would have been an all-star winning series, but unfortunately I can't unsee it with my eyes. But yes, comment down below what other shows I should cover, what other animes I should cover. Right now I'm in the process of watching Death Parade, which I think is very relevant to Death Note, if you know. But yeah, like and subscribe, all that. Love you guys, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.